Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, another absolutely gorgeous morning. We're still in barren moose country, so I'm going to have to be careful going on my morning walk not to run into anything that could possibly hurt a little bit. On top of that though, there is a highway behind those tree lines, and I'm wondering if that's going to drive away some of the wildlife. I'm assuming it will, and fluff spotting might be a little less than normal. However, there are some fluffs I'm about to show you. So I'm currently at the water, and those are the legendary cobra chickens swimming away from me. So fortunately they're going away from me and not towards me, because in Canada these are the most dangerous creatures. More dangerous than a bear, more dangerous than a moose. In reality though, I would say the biggest thing you have to worry about with geese is their excrement. I'll say geese are notorious for leaving a lot wherever they are. They basically take 2 steps and crap, and that's their MO. So if you see geese around, just make sure you're looking where you're walking, because you may step in 1 or 2 or a bunch of things you don't want to. And speaking about excrement and stuff you may not want, first up on the docket here, we're talking about Nintendo Switch 2 game key cards. And it seems Nintendo is still investigating the popularity or lack thereof of their game key cards. Now, interestingly, we've talked about this survey before. A while back, Nintendo had this survey in Japan, and it seems as if now they're conducting the survey in North America. However, it doesn't seem to be open to everyone, maybe not just yet. This does seem targeted at a specific user or users right now. It was spotted over on Reddit. And when I checked out the link, I couldn't access it. Now, if you are interested in this one and wanted to learn more about it, like everything we talk about, links are in the description below, right at the bottom. I don't hide my sources. But taking a look here, it seems that the survey may not be accessible for a whole lot of people. In my opinion, it would be crazy to think Nintendo is not aware of the backlash against, well, the Switch 2 pricing, as well as game key cards and all of that. But it doesn't seem that that is really affecting purchases. The Switch 2 continues to sell like hotcakes. The game key cards, I'm assuming, are selling well. Developers don't seem to be happy with game key cards, but at the same time, I just think what Nintendo says goes. However, there are rumors out there, and take this one with a grain of salt because nothing is confirmed, but there are rumors out there Nintendo may be reevaluating the size of their cartridges. Right now they're limited to 64 gigabytes or restricted to 64 gigabytes. And there are rumors they are considering lowering that gigabyte requirement to make them more accessible to third-party developers. We're going to have to wait and see on that one though, because if Nintendo did offer smaller storage size cartridges, I'm pretty sure developers and publishers would find that a lot more attractive. And continuing to talk about Nintendo, next up we're talking about Nintendo and speedrunning and the RTA event in Japan. And it seems as if the RTA event is not going to be having Nintendo games this year. I think Oatmeal Dome here on Twitter does a good job of summing things up. They say RTA in Japan, a speedrun charity event, was notified by Nintendo that they are utilizing Nintendo games without permission. Due to this, RiJ Summer 2025 will not feature Nintendo games. And the organizers are in discussions with Nintendo regarding future events. Now, to me, this is not surprising for a couple of different reasons. Number one, when it comes to charity events and fan events and game tournaments and stuff, Nintendo previously has not had a very, in my opinion, not a very good track record of being cooperative with their fan base. And number two, I would say that, well, this is Japan, and I think Japan has different laws than North America. And speaking about rules and laws and corporations, next up here, we're talking about VPNs. Now, if you use VPNs, this might not be necessarily great news for you, I guess, depending on what you use them for. But anyways, here, there's a post on Reddit YouTube, and it's titled, "The Internet is Genuinely Dead." And there are 15,000 upvotes on this thing. It's gaining a lot of traction. So it says here, "I just got this for the first time. I live in the UK, so I don't want to submit ID. It's so sad that the internet has breached this level of privacy. It used to be a place where people who can't express their views in real life could express it here. But now all of that is gone. It is no longer autonomous. We need new autonomous space." And taking a look, it shows on YouTube here that a VPN and proxy has been detected. To continue, turn off your VPN proxy. This will allow YouTube to locate the best content. Now, in my opinion here, and I'm trying not to raise my voice on this one, YouTube restricting access to VPNs and proxies to allow YouTube to locate the best content is the biggest crock of crap I've heard today. I mean, realistically here, I think we're on a really slippery slope of companies being able to ID people and the whole veil of anonymity completely gone on the internet. Could be wrong, not going to open a can of worms and go down conspiracy theories, but at the same time here, I mean, that is just, that is something. Now, in my opinion here, I don't necessarily think that this is going to be the end of VPNs, but I do think this is going to put a very big dent in the overall VPN user base. I'm thinking if it's very difficult for the average person to use a VPN, if they're getting roadblocks left, right, and center basically at every turn on the internet, a lot of people will be less inclined to pay for a VPN that isn't really going to work for them. We'll have to wait and see on that one, but based on the way things are going, I would say this is not good for the VPN scene. But moving on from that and arguably switching to something much more positive, next up we're talking about SaveState. Now, for those who may or may not be aware, SaveState stands for Subscribe to Mr. Sujano. And they say here it's a user-friendly GUI application for Windows and Linux to easily back up and restore video game save files, especially useful for games without cloud saves or for managing multiple save locations. And SaveState just got a big new update. So at the time of filming, version 1.4.3 is the latest update for SaveState. And they say here, universal launcher support, rewritten engine, and major stability gains. Key features here include universal drag and drop for all launchers, completely rewritten save path detection engine. There's a global search bar, a robust background task and cancellation management. And also they're getting close to XEMU support. Not there yet, but they are working on it. In terms of overall usability, I would say this is a huge win for SaveState. I mean, with the universal drag and drop for all launchers, they say you are no longer limited to Steam. You can now drag and drop game executables or shortcuts from any PC launcher, Epic Games, GOG, Battle.net, etc., directly into SaveState to create a profile. And for XEMU, they say here, we really wanted to get it into this update, but it's turned out to be a tough nut to crack. Getting SaveState to correctly and safely interact with the virtual Xbox hard drive is a complex task, particularly when building it to work reliably across different operating systems like Windows and Linux. Rather than push something out buggy, we've decided to give it more time in the workshop. It's still a high priority for us, and we'll release it as soon as it works in the way it's supposed to. SaveState is 100% free and open source, and if you're interested and wanted to learn more about it, again, like everything we talk about, link is in the description below right at the bottom. Next up here, we're talking about Battlefield 6, and this one is just, I guess this is more of just a heads up, a fun fact, or maybe not fun fact, depending on how you wanted to interpret it. Anyways here, it's being reported over on DSO Gaming, and they say Battlefield 6 will not run unless secure boot is enabled in your BIOS. So if you're planning on picking up the game and don't have secure boot enabled, you may want to think about enabling it. Additionally, if you are playing Battlefield 6 on consoles, just be mindful that Battlefield 6 will have mouse and keyboard support. So if you're playing on controller, I would say you're probably at a disadvantage. Who knows though? But it does seem mouse and keyboard support will be active right from the get-go. And speaking about controllers, next up we're talking about 8BitDo and Rare, and a very interesting collaboration that I think looks really cool. If you're a fan of Rare, if you're a fan of 8BitDo, you might be a fan of this. The 8BitDo Ultimate 3-mode wireless controller for Xbox, Hall effect joysticks, Pro back buttons, compatibility with Xbox Series X and S and Xbox One, Apple, Windows PC, and Android. There's a rare 40th anniversary edition of this controller. The colorway here, the blue and yellow and gold, I think looks really, really good. Let me know your thoughts about this one. It's retailing for $90 US. And for those wondering why 8BitDo teamed up with Rare seemingly out of the blue, well, it wasn't really out of the blue here. It's celebrating Rare's 40th anniversary. Rare has been around for 40 years. Man, time flies. And speaking about developers and publishers, next up we're talking about limited run games and Yakuza Kiwami. And this is really, really bad news in my opinion if you picked up a physical version of the game from Limited Run Games and wanted to upgrade it to the Switch 2 version. So based on my understanding, if you've got the digital version of Yakuza Kiwami on the Switch and wanted to upgrade it to the Switch 2 version, you can. I think you have to still pay for it. But at the same time, if you've got the physical version, it is unable to be upgraded to the Switch 2 version. So reportedly, this response has come right from the Sega Customer Service Center. As stated previously, unfortunately, only those who have purchased the Nintendo Switch version of Yakuza Kiwami, the downloadable version, can purchase the Nintendo Switch 2 version of Yakuza Kiwami, downloadable version. It seems the physical version is being treated as an entirely separate release. Next up, we're talking about Windows emulation on Android with Gamehub, and it seems as if Gamehub is getting more and more popular in the Android community. This post over on Reddit, emulation on Android, I think sums up where Gamehub is currently at. They say, not gonna lie, Gamehub cooked. I think they may mean that literally as well. Well, that's a side note. So they say, not gonna lie, Gamehub cooked. This is the best GTA 5 experience that I've had amongst all x86 emulators. They are using a Snapdragon 8 Elite, and they've got GTA 5 running very well, above 60 frames per second most of the time. Now, I'm not gonna lie here, it's running very well. It's very impressive. However, when I was saying cooked earlier on, this is using the Antutu package. The Antutu package disables thermal throttling. So that is just something to really be mindful of if you're using an underpowered device and turning off thermal throttling. I don't want to say you can cook your device, but there is a chance you could damage it. Now, I'm not going to tell people what version to use, whether it's Antutu or not Antutu. But I would say if you are using something turning off your thermal throttling is there for a reason. So be very mindful of that and maybe do some research as to what turning off thermal throttling could lead to for your device. And on a side note here, it does seem that Gamehub seems to be gaining steam and taking over almost the Windows emulation on Android space. A lot of people seem to be really gravitating towards Gamehub, especially Mali users. And speaking about mobile, last up here we're talking about Disco Elysium on Android. If you're a fan of Disco Elysium, you're probably going to be a big fan of Disco Elysium on Android, or maybe not, who knows here. Anyways, this has just released. There are in-app purchases, but it's a different purchase than you may think. It's not necessarily microtransactions. They say here, start your detective journey for free. Play the first 4 levels and unlock the full experience with a single purchase. At the time of filming, it's currently got 10 plus downloads, so it's still pretty fresh. Let me know your thoughts about Disco Elysium on Android in the comments below. I haven't checked this one out yet, but it may be on my radar now. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. Or actually, there were some fluffs at the beginning of this video, some geese or cobra chickens. Not the legendary one fluff, but some fluffs. And on a side note here, I realized I had the low pass filter turned on this microphone the entire time I've been recording during this camping trip. And I also didn't have 32-bit float enabled. So hopefully now things are a little bit better. Maybe the sound is a little bit more full. Who knows? Let me know your thoughts. But we talked about a bunch today. Feel free to discuss anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate. Save your state.